You know what it is! It's Taco Tuesday!
Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Taco Tuesday, and what an eventful past weekend we had in the NFT space. Things definitely got out of hand with the Otherside mint, but I'll cover all the details and what happened with that in just a moment. It's already May, time is flying by, and this is set to be a massive month for NFTs. I think there are a ton of projects releasing with massive potential. So in today's video, I'm going to cover those early projects that have kind of popped up on my radar. Some of them, it is super early and not a lot of people are talking about them, which means there's plenty of time for you guys to get whitelisted way before all of the hype comes. Before we jump into it, many of you have been reaching out to me asking, do I have a Discord server for the community? Do I have an alpha group? The answer is no, but I actually am in the process of structuring and building one out that's kind of unique to the things that I like and that help me, win in terms of trading and finding projects in this space. So if you guys are interested in joining my alpha group or community, it is going to be totally free. I want to have a very tight-knit community, so it is going to be pretty exclusive. And like I said, it's probably going to be set to release closer towards the end of the month. But starting on this video and every other upload until then, I will be giving you guys a chance to secure a spot in the Discord. So if you guys are interested, leave me a comment down below. When did you get into NFTs and why did you get into NFTs? And I'll highlight two of my favorite responses and showcase those at the start of my next video. I don't want to spend too much time talking about this situation overall because I literally dedicated the entire last video to the Otherside and the Yuga Labs metaverse land drop, but I do want to cover it just because it's kind of hard not to with the situation in the market right now. So basically there was thousands of ETH on the sidelines. We really had a slow market for the past week or so with everyone really anticipating the Otherside land release. And so Saturday was going to be a massive day, and it still was a massive day, but unfortunately just with the sheer hype of anything Bored Ape Yacht Club related and a huge opportunity for so many people to get in that ecosystem, there was an absolute massive gas war that probably could have been prevented just based on the contract and how they set up the whole minting phase, KYC, using ape token and everything like that. So as you guys can see here, Will has kind of a thread on the gas situation, how nearly $100 million was spent on gas for the Bored Ape Yacht Club sale in just 1 hour. So that was just the first hour, $100 million gone. Now Yuga Labs did come out and say that they kind of apologized. They understand that they didn't do it maybe in the most optimal way, and that they do plan to refund everyone who lost money in this gas war, because people were willing to pay 2 to 3 ETH in gas just for one of these pieces of land. If we head over to OpenSea now, you can see that some of these deeds that have codas on them are still selling for 26 ETH to that 30-40 ETH range, which is crazy. $70,000 is life-changing to a lot of people. Yes, the drop was still life-changing if you lucked out, if you got great location, maybe a tier 5 land plot, if you got valuable resources, if you got a coda, more importantly. Definitely some life-changing money, like this one right here, 280 ETH. That's insane, nearly $800,000. But the thing that I want you guys to focus on, and I didn't talk about this before, with these massive mints, like, don't beat yourself up about it if you missed out. There's plenty of opportunities this month and this week alone. There are some massive mints, so just keep it moving, keep grinding, and it's gonna pay off. Just remember that we are still so early in the space overall. Looking forward, focusing on that early alpha, we're gonna kick it off with Degenheim, which I think is set to be a really fun project overall. Gonna be honest, we know pretty much next to nothing about it other than that's Degenheim. They've got about 15,000 followers right now, and they say you are still early, which it's always a good sign for us. Looking at the banner here, there's just a lot of like weird stuff going on. They got like a bathtub way up on the hill over here. Please go full Degen. They've got swords, and so it looks like there's definitely a greater universe or world being created. Make sure you guys follow them and turn those notifications on. In these teaser and countdown videos, they do have Discord codes that are kind of hidden in the video. The rumor for Degenheim is that it's going to actually be some kind of game. I don't know if it's going to be play to earn or what exactly. And there's another rumor that Project Gajira, Llamaverse, and View, which is Takoa's project, are all kind of collaborating potentially on this project. I don't know if it's the teams behind those projects or if it's just members in those communities. But you can see Dakoa already tweet about them, and this was a couple days ago. So Degenheim, based on the name, this banner, and the few interactions we've seen, looks very interesting. Definitely one that I think you guys are definitely going to keep an eye on, follow, and just kind of stay up to date as this project develops. So on the channel, I haven't actually done like a tools video on, what are kind of the software or different websites that I use for trading and flipping NFTs. To be honest, for the most part, I mainly rely on just Twitter and Discord alone. Sometimes I do look at charts for projects that have been around for a couple months just to get an idea of the volume and how it's kind of trended. And the other thing is I do look at holder distribution. I love to know what percentage of the project is held by people who only own one of that NFT. Because typically you're looking for like 90% or higher. You want more people that are only having one of that NFT than a lot of people that have a lot. And that's kind of that holder ratio that I typically talk about when we're looking at OpenSea. Flippr Tool is one that popped up on my radar. And I think the biggest reason is that this is actually going to be an NFT gated tool, meaning that you're actually going to have to hold on to the Flippr NFT pass itself in order for you to use the tool that they have. So one, I think that's cool because as the demand for this tool increases, if the product itself is good, if it's worthwhile, then you're going to gain by just holding on to it, as well as actually the utilization of the tool itself. So something I thought that was cool here, this is a bit of a comparison table. So it's going to show you Flippr compared to Icy Tools, which I think is like one of the most popular tools out there, and then Alpha Sharks, which I know is one that's popped up maybe in the past month or two, at least from my understanding. So it gives you an idea of the features. Flippr obviously is going to market themselves as having everything, so we'll just have to see if they live up and deliver on that. But basically the point here is that they're winning in terms of features and just the tools that they have. And then you look at price, Icy Tools is 0.2 a year, Alpha Sharks is 0.8 if you're buying it now. And so Flippr is going to give you that lowest entry or lowest cost entry to kind of get in. And so some of the cool things that they have here, they got like rug protection, auto minter. So let's say, you have whitelist for a project or something, you can basically schedule to mint so you don't miss out on a mint, which I think is really cool. They've got, quick buy features. They've got batch buy, which we saw with like Genie, if you guys are familiar with that. So really some cool features here. And so they have a white paper available. You guys can go ahead on here and check out all the information that you need. Like I talked about the auto minter, so you don't forget your mints. Analytics, which I think is really only important for established projects where you're really looking at volume over time and kind of how it's trended. They have it so that you can search by traits, which when it comes to sniping NFTs on OpenSea, this is always going to be critical if you're looking or hunting rares over aesthetics. They've got the batch buy, which allows you to sweep. They've got Flippr guard, which is basically going to be kind of a protection against maybe rug pulls and whatnot. Alerts, kind of some of the standard things here. And then they also are going to have a marketplace similar to like Gajira, Llamaverse, NanoPass, a lot of these other ones where, you do have the opportunity to spend the currency, which they have Flip here, which you'll get by holding. You'll be able to spend that currency to buy upcoming, whitelist or raffle entries. And so for Flippr, the Discord is open. You guys can jump in there and be active in the community. They have giveaways and different contests for you to get whitelisted for the project. Like I said, the mint is 0.09. But if you guys want to just avoid that, you think this tool has a ton of potential and you're interested in it, Scavengers NFT is actually going to give you a free mint for Flippr, and it's also going to give you a whitelist spot as well. Our next project is MAZK Gang, but it's going to be MAZK. This is going to be a Southeast Asia art-inspired collection. It's going to be a 10K EFP collection. From what we've seen, I'm just a big fan of the art in itself. So it's got 34,000 followers. It hasn't really blown up necessarily. These days, 34,000 followers is still pretty early on. As I mentioned, the art is really the thing that jumped out and stood out to me. You can get an idea of some of the art here. It's like very futuristic in a way. A lot of these guys and characters have, various different weapons, and they seem like they're from like Fallout or some kind of dystopia universe. This one's actually animated right here, so maybe it's one of the more rares or, one of the one-of-ones. One of the things that I'll say when I talk about any of these projects that are mainly art focused is beyond just the art is there's some kind of story or some kind of background, some kind of lore, which I think really relates and kind of connects with a lot of the gamers out there like myself. So they do have various different factions that you can see here. These are like the demons. They've got like the lords of the jungle. So there's definitely a couple different factions that are going to give you unique different, variety of characters in this universe, and you can kind of see the comparisons here. And they talk about how MAZK plans to be a brand. So similar to Azuki, I'm assuming that's maybe an inspiration or a goal of theirs in both the physical and digital world. They talk about merchandise, streetwear, toys. Yeah, it seems like the artists are mainly based out of Thailand. As I mentioned, Southeast Asia, is the main area where they're all from. You can check out all of their Instagram and Twitters. It seems to be like a handful of artists that are all participating in this project. Now, when it comes to whitelist and the main info, so it is going to be a 0.1 mint, and it's set for Q2. So that's either going to be later this month or in June. If you own any of their previous projects, which are all listed here in their Discord server, which is open, by the way, you guys will be auto whitelisted for this project. So here's one of them here, Masked Villains, and you can get an idea of, here's kind of the inspiration for the art. So 10K collection, a decent bit of it is going to be by the holders of those kind of Genesis collections. So definitely one that if you guys like the art, you guys like the story and what you've seen, definitely hop in there sooner than later, because a decent bit of the supply is going to be taken up by those who are already holding the previous projects. So this next project, it is super early. This might be a shot in the dark, but it's Owange NFT, which I think is just orange. It looks to be an Asia inspired project. I think the artist is from somewhere in Asia, just based on that font in the header alone. The only tweet and all that we know is kind of this animated lo-fi video, similar to how Ranga started out their Twitter. And so the similar way here, this project is picking up steam. I think just an hour ago, they had 2,000 followers, and they've already jumped up to, 3,560 since I've refreshed the page. So definitely follow them and turn notifications on if you guys are interested. And so if you look at their following, they're following one single person, which is Kong Andre, who is the creator of Owange team. So I'm assuming this is the artist behind the project. So when we head over to Kong's Twitter, he has an OpenSea and a foundation here. When we head over to his foundation, there's two different things here that I think are interesting. One, there's a crypto collectible figures. So these are literal toys that I don't know if they're physically made, but could definitely be sold, in stores, or could be sold to those who are interested. And then here we see just kind of the artwork that's on his foundation. And so it's really playful. It's kind of cartoony. It's around this main character who has that orange helmet on, and there's oranges in the picture. And so if we look at the OpenSea here for Owange team, they do have a 200 item 1 ETH floor price. And once again, it's that same character that we saw with just a bunch of different helmets on and different outfits, which I think is interesting. So the fact that they made a Twitter that's brand new, I'm assuming that it's going to be an expansion of this character, of this universe. They've already done something here, so my guess is that it's going to be a lot different than just the character with different suits on. Either way, seems like we're early. It seems like there's a reputable artist behind this project. Definitely one to stay updated on and to follow them for more. All right, so for those of you guys who don't know, I actually started out on Solana. My first ever project was a solo project, and then I quickly moved to Ethereum. I think with OK Bear's wild success, they had crazy volume, like a top 5 trending project since they minted on OpenSea, not even Magic Eden. It's really put Sol on notice. I think everyone in the Ethereum community saw what happened with OK Bears, and so you might see a lot of people that are normally in ETH NFTs checking out Solana NFTs. It could be Solana Summer, but either way, Bubblegoose Ballers is a project that I've seen in a couple of the alpha groups that I'm in that are usually entirely ETH centric, talking about this project and its potential. With Bubblegoose Ballers, it's going to be a 10,000 PFP collection, and it's actually going to be by Carl Jones. So if you guys aren't familiar, Carl Jones was the producer of the show The Boondocks, if you guys remember, on like Adult Swim back in the day. And really the name and the reason is around the Bubblegoose coats that the artist says that a lot of the dudes and the OGs, the ballers in his neighborhood would wear growing up. And so he's kind of turned that idea and really that urban style, that hip hop style, as you can see in a lot of the various traits here in the artwork, and turn it into like this kind of cartoon, which I think is really, really dope. And then we look at the roadmap. And so a couple things jump out to me. One, the mint of the season 1 collection, meaning that there's going to either be airdrops or future collections. This is going to essentially be, the Genesis. If you guys get involved here, it looks like there's going to be a lot more in the future. And then some other interesting roadmap things that we don't typically see: community writers room, rough script shared with the community, storyboards. I think Carl Jones has the full idea of going ahead and actually creating creating this into a cartoon. I don't know if it's going to be just kind of a YouTube series like what we've seen with Cool Mans, or if this is potentially going to be, you know, the next Boondocks or something else. Either way, Carl's worked on, you know, a handful of other shows. It looks like this team across the board is established in the space. If you guys aren't familiar, MAZK is actually going to be the graphic artist and illustrator behind the Catalina Whales collection, which is a wildly successful Solana project. I remember when I first joined the space, I was seeing that PFP everywhere. With Bubblegoose Ballers, I think just with the direction of this project and the art, the cartoon style, it's going to work really well as a PFP. I think it's going to work really well for people who actually believe in building out brands and IP, you know, for the future. So definitely one that you guys are going to want to keep your eyes on. That's going to wrap it up for today. As always, if you guys aren't, follow me on Twitter at HotTacoMD. I'm always sharing the projects that I'm looking at or think are sick the moment I see them on my Twitter, and really just about the market in general. And if you guys enjoyed the video, hammer the like button, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, I'm out.